in your room, or did you blacked out the window? Right.
I blacked out the window. I took all that light out that we had before.
Let's see.
I could set up that light, but it's still in boxes. I didn't realize that it came until this morning. I hadn't taken it out of the boxes.
No, that's fine. All right. In the meantime, let's open the window back up. So sorry about that. And then
okay, no, it's all good.
We'll just do the light.
Cool.
Hey JD, just if you can hear me, type in the chat that you can hear me.
Jim, where are you at? Where are you at right now? Where are you coming to us from?
Are you talking to Jim DeShays or Jim Riggleman?
Jim Riggleman.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I'm coming from Madeira Beach, Florida, just south of Clearwater.
Gotcha. Nice and hot and humid there?
Yeah, it's been really nice actually. You know, the beaches are opened up. It's getting nice again here.
You got a pool you able to lounge by?
Yeah, we got it all here. We got the beach and the pool right there.
There we go. Yeah, my agent is in Boca, so he's always sending me. He's like his kids. They're in the pool all day, and I'm like, man, I wish. I mean, I'm out in Redondo Beach. I'm in California right now for the time being, but we don't have a pool, and our beaches are not open.
Okay.
So my wife and daughter yesterday they went to because my in-laws live on the river in Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a lake home as well. So they just went down there for like 8 days. I'm like, he's going to leave me alone and be a hermit for the next week.
Yeah. Where are you from?
I'm from Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've lived out in LA for the last 6 years. Jim, yesterday on the show we had the most forgotten Cub. Any guy that played for the Cubs that people are like, oh man, completely forgot that he did. And like I feel like we went up and down the list, and my dad hit me because he watches every day, but he hit me with like, it's like I can't believe you guys didn't go with this guy. Is there anyone that jumps off to you that you're like, oh, everyone forgets he's a Cub?
Oh boy. I not to get off of that, but somewhat related to that, I was looking at a game recently where I was with the Dodgers as a coach. One of the Dodger games was on ESPN, and Hee-Seop Choi was playing for the Dodgers, and I was there as a coach. I don't even remember that. But, so I
Nice.
can see how that can happen. But as far as Cubs, it would, it'd probably be somebody who came up in September type of situation, maybe got that September call up. But as far as a regular guy who played quite a bit there and made an impact. Sometimes people might forget Gary Gaetti, who was on the
Yeah.
'98 playoff team, was a Cub
Yep.
because he
Cub killer.
spent so much. Yeah.
Nice. That's a good one.
Who,
Yeah,
who
my
did you all
dad's like, I
come
can't
up
believe
with?
nobody. I mean, I threw out, Nomar, Rafael Palmeiro,
Oh yeah.
but nobody went Lou Brock. And my dad was like, I can't believe none of you guys went with Lou Brock. And I was like, how could we not?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, that would be an interesting one to think about. But Henry Rodriguez, remember the outfielder
Oh, Henry,
with
absolutely.
Montreal? Henry
Hmm.
Henry had some good years with the Cubs.
For sure. I had Jim Edmonds too.
Wow, I forgot he was a Cub.
Only for 1 year, but I feel like he made so many great plays. I feel like he was the best defensive center fielder of that era outside of Griffey. I mean, everyone goes with Andrew Jones, but
Yeah.
I just feel like if I needed a fly ball track down, I'm going to go Jim Edmonds over Andrew Jones.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah.
I mean, I used to sit there and watch Andrew Jones, and he'd take a beat and then go and then slide for balls. And I feel like sometimes the slides were unnecessary, although flashy and fun to watch, not always
Yeah.
necessary.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure
Cool. Can you
a
tilt
whole
up
lot
a
better than I
touch?
do. Tilt up a touch? Yeah.
Yeah, just give me a little bit more headroom. Perfect. And then
So
I'm just
I
seeing
didn't
your
know if that
wall.
corner
Yeah, I'm seeing that a
right
little.
there.
So can you tilt? Let's get rid of that
Maybe
real quick.
I can scoot back. Ah, shit! I just moved that green screen.
It's all right.
Okay.
There you go. And then pull the camera a little closer to you. I'm still seeing the top right there. Perfect.
There you go.
Thank you.
I feel like they need to make these green screens like that shape instead of just straight up and down rectangle. How about this one, Jim? Most unbreakable record in baseball history.
It's a good one. I I could say Cal Ripken's games played, but I think I think I'll stay with that. Pete Rose's hits record is right there, but I think I'm going to say the games played consecutive.
Gotcha. That's a
How
tough
about
one.
you? What do you
I feel like
think?
just 'cause I think it's Ricky Henderson's stolen bases,
Yeah, that's
1,406. I mean,
yeah.
it's unbelievable just the fact that only Vince Coleman stole over 100 more than once, except for Ricky did it 3 times.
Yeah, and
That's a
the
lot.
thing is, unless we get back to where people are running more again, nobody's going to get close. But,
Ever. And I mean,
you
I
know,
feel like it's because of what those guys did. Like there was a reason for a slide step, but
yeah,
who knows?
you know, I don't think you'd get many people to go along with this, but you could at least put Ricky in the argument of greatest players ever, because
I'm there. I'm right there with you.
the point is to win the game. To win the game, you got to score more runs than the other team. Nobody scored more runs than Ricky.
Yeah.
He holds
He'll
that
start you with a
record as well.
bang too.
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
I mean,
He
he's
was
a
a
guy
great
who could have
player.
played well almost into his 50s. I mean, you look at like his last
Yeah.
season, what he played till he was 46, 47, and like his numbers were
I
better
would-
than half the leadoff hitters in the league.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
I'm a big Ricky Henderson guy.
Yeah, he was great. he liked to play too. I mean, he went to the independent leagues and played, and
Played for the
he didn't
Newark
have to
Bears,
play.
didn't he?
Yep. Yeah.
He's one of those guys who's just he's all baseball. That's all he knows how to do.
Yeah, he was good.
Who was your favorite player growing up, Jim?
Brooks Robinson, because I grew up
Love
in
it.
Maryland, and I
Yep.
was a third baseman, and Brooks played third for the Orioles, so I was, that was kind of my guy.
And best defensive third baseman of all time, huh?
Yeah,
16
he was
Gold Gloves?
something. So I don't know how many, but I know, that and the All-Star teams, but he was probably the first one to get to the Hall of Fame based on his defense, and then Ozzie
Mhm.
Smith followed that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, his defense. I mean, how was his bat though? I mean, I feel like I need to go back and look at his offensive numbers, but I mean, he could swing it a little bit though, huh?
Yeah, Brooks was like a 268, 270 lifetime hitter. He did hit about 250, 275 home runs, right in that number, and but he played 20 plus years, so he was
Yeah.
probably going to hit 12 or 15 homers a year and drive in 80. He was known, if in today's world they kind of act as if there is no such thing, but he was. If you watch the Orioles, he was a clutch guy. He got some big hits. He might not drive in 3 that day with like Boog Powell with a home run, but he
Mhm.
would he could get a big hit to drive in a run.
Steady.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to work through some stuff with JD, but he'll be on momentarily.
You got it. And Miller, Bruce is a no go for this.
Yeah, he's trying to get out of his obligation if he can last minute. That's going to be pretty much a coin flip whether he gets on in time.
That's all good. Oh, there he is.
There he is.
Bruce Levine coming through quicker than Jim DeShays.
I'm
Look at Bruce.
on a delay. Do you hear me okay?
I hear you fine, man.
All right. Hey, Riggs.
Hey, Bruce.
How are you, buddy?
Good. I'm enjoying this. The first time I've ever done this. I'm enjoying this, but I'm going to have to be off at 2:30 because I've already made that obligation to the other interview.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll
got
make
it.
sure you're off in time. No problem.
Yeah,
Hey, Bruce, can we just set up your shot then while we got time?
yeah.
Excuse me? What is it meant to see so many players step on up?
How's that?
Just tilt down a touch from there, and then we'll be all good.
Right, man. Like every
How's that?
That's good, but can you just tilt down to clear that vent?
They right away they say yeah, they right want to call, and it's a great feeling for us. Like, and
Is
those
there
players.
a recorded interview that's being played back? What is that, guys?
Yes, I'm recording an interview right now.
Oh, that's you.
Tilt up from there, Bruce.
Great feeling, man. And I'm very proud of all those guys here in this group.
A little bit more, Bruce.
Daryl and Talent sometimes.
Almost there.
You know anyone who's been ill or affected by the virus? And if it
Difficult.
training leading up to the regular season, if we do have one, how much time do you, as a player, how much time would you?
Yeah, I'm getting 2 angles, and neither are good enough.
Baby, usted me para la primera vez para un
Right there. Oh, you had it, Bruce. Almost.
All right. That should do it.
Thank you
good?
very much. That's good.
All right. Let me know when you're going to record, and I'll turn my this recording off.
Yeah, we'll get going in a second here, Bruce. If you could turn off the recording in the background there.
Like 10 people that I know, like he's 5 people that they already, and on the other side they trying to recover. And
Cole, do you have the messages up?
I do. I don't have
Great.
anything new. It just says just Deshay's logged in, Bruce, Deshay's.
Yeah, just a test there.
So,
hey, Bruce, just double checking that you can see the message that I just sent.
Hold on.
I see that.
Can now. Yep. Hey, everyone.
Great. So this is going to be a self-contained block here from Cole. So we'll start on a 3-shot.
Okay.
Cole will introduce everyone, and then we'll take a 2-shot of Cole and Jim, and we'll go from there.
And then Bruce, you and I will just alternate.
Correct.
We'll alternate.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'll put in the chat when we need to wrap.
Got it. Ready when you are.
All right. Dusold, you okay on the record here?
Yep, stand by. Just going to run through these shots one more time. All right, I'm all set. Let me tweak Cole here. Stand by. All right, I'm all good. Starting.
All right. I'll count us in here. Cole,
Yep.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Hey, back with you here on Cubs 360, presented by Miller Lite, and today we continue to celebrate Kerry Wood's 20 strikeout performance, which was, oh, by the way, 22 years ago to the day, and who better to go down memory lane with than his former skipper, Jim Riggleman, as he joins Bruce and myself here on the show. And, well, Skip, I mean, it was his 5th start. You go out there, you put him in the lineup card, and did you expect such electricity on a day like that?
No, nobody could have expected it. Kerry was a dynamic pitcher, just tremendous talent that had a really good spring training for us. We sent him down to AAA for a couple of weeks, and the opportunity and need arose to bring him back up. And he had thrown a couple of pretty good ball games before that, but nobody could expect what he did on that day 22 years ago.
Riggs, you're going against arguably the best team in your division, certainly one of the best in the league at that point. And at what point, 8 strikeouts in a row from both pitchers. Reynolds strikes out the side in his inning too, then Kerry 5 in a row. At what point did you say, this could be an historic day? Nobody's making any contact whatsoever.
I don't think I was thinking in terms of historic, until it got really deeper in the game. The game was it was a 1-0 game most of the day, so we were really trying to win the ball game. We weren't really thinking history too much, but as we got deep into it, I know Tom Gamboa and a couple other guys on the staff mentioned, wow, his numbers are ridiculous today, and they started filling in the strikeout numbers. I didn't really know what the record was, but I knew I was seeing something that I'd never seen before, probably never see again.
Now, Jim, Scott Service, he was your usual starting catcher, but on that day, it was Sandy Martinez. How did Martinez draw catching duties?
I was talking to somebody about that yesterday, and Sandy had a cannon for an arm. He was built like a linebacker, nice athlete back there, but was known for his throwing, not so much, as a great catcher. He did a fine job as a catcher, but just happened to be, we were giving Scott a day off that day and putting Sandy in there. And, Sandy had caught him before in the bullpen and all that. But if you look at that game, the first pitch of the game was a fastball that went right by Sandy, hit the umpire in the face, and it was a little scary at that moment. But Sandy did a great job, as he did always when we put him in there. Sandy was a nice catcher.
This is considered by many people the greatest game ever pitched. In your mind, Riggs, I mean, you see the infield grounder off of Ori's glove in the third inning. Nobody's thinking no hitter at that time. It's too early. But from your perspective, was this the best game you've ever seen pitch? Is this the most dominant game in the history that you've had to watch?
Certainly for me, it's the most dominant game I've ever seen pitched. Never really seen anything close to it, but I think what verifies that is two great Cubs, Billy Williams and Ron Santo, were in the stadium that day. Billy coaching and Ronnie announcing, and they were both part of the ball club that got perfect game thrown against them by Sandy Koufax, and they both indicated that Kerry's game was probably more dominant than what Sandy did to them that day.
Yeah, in that domination, he went 120 plus pitches. Now, Jim, as we know, baseball has certainly changed. How worried about his pitch count were you on that day?
I was worried. At that point, we certainly would think in terms of pitchers going 125 innings, 130 innings. That's kind of never happens anymore. But it was a cool day. He was handling it so well. He was barely breaking a sweat. He was dominating. I was concerned, though, that if anybody gets on base and this thing looks like it's going to get into a pitch count that it's going to get a little scary, then we would have to take him out of there. And if I did, I know our fans would have been very upset because they knew the history of what he was getting ready to accomplish.
Riggs, he has a great year. He becomes Rookie of the Year, but he misses the last month, comes back for the playoffs for that one game, and deals. Really, you guys lost, unfortunately, but it's a 5-inning game. He gives up for him one run. Were you shocked that he was able to come back? And then were you not surprised when the first pitch of 1999 and in Arizona that day, where his first pitch just went 99 up to the screen and he was done?
Yeah, and going back to the 98 when he pitched in the playoffs, he had been pitching in the instructional league out in Arizona. We shut him down from pitching, but he was working out in Arizona. He was pitching. He was in games out there, and the reports we were getting was, hey, he's dominating. He's fine. He's throwing his 98 miles an hour. He's ready to go. He can help you in the playoffs. So that's the information we got, and we used that. We put him in the game. He did fine. Threw a lot of pitches to get through the 5 innings against a really good Atlanta club. The next spring, I don't remember if it was the first pitch he threw in the game or whatever. I do know that very early on in that game, he threw a pitch. It went up to the screen, and I had seen that happen with Todd Worrell when I was a Cardinal. And that, with Todd, that indicated his Tommy John surgery was inevitable. And so I was, kind of looking at this. This could be really devastating, and it was.
Yeah, Kerry Wood, a career done too soon, but nonetheless, 22 years ago to the day, it was a special day for Wood. Also, a very special day for Jim Riggleman, his former skipper. And Jim, thanks so much for taking time out to join us right here on Cubs 360. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
And don't move, because up next, is there more risk or reward when it comes to pushing the limits to make history? We're going to answer that and much, much more next right here. You're watching Cubs 360, presented by Miller Lite. Thanks, Jim.
Riggs, thanks a lot. I think he's frozen out now.
I think he already might have gotten
Either froze or he's like, I'm gone.
On to the next.
Good stuff. Right?
Yeah, that was a good job. Good job by both of you.
Good stuff. Good stuff, guys.
Cole, appreciate the fill at the beginning too. Thank you.
Oh, no doubt, man.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Oh, what's up, Sweeney?
Right.
What's going on, Ryan? It's Andrew.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Doing well. How are you?
Good.
We're working through some technical difficulties with JD, but trying a couple different devices to get him on. I'll keep you guys updated.
Okay.
Yep.
Hey, Ryan, you got me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome. Can we just let's tilt down a touch if we can, and then we'll center you up in your shot. And so if you slide to your right a touch, there you go, right there.
Perfect.
And then do you have any light to your left that you can turn on as well, Ryan? The right side of
Not
your face
really.
is really well. Just seeing a bathroom or any light off to the left.
Yeah,
that might
I
be
have
able
a
to
bathroom
catch.
light on in there. I don't know if it'll go anywhere.
It is, okay.
Let me see. Let me see if I can get one that's brighter in there. Let me see. There we go. I got. Oop, shit. Shit. The other earbuds are way easier.
That's where your shot's perfect right there. Thanks, Ryan.
Okay.
Oh, you're going SoCal on us today with the shirt.
What's that?
I'm going so clean. I feel like half of my all my even my collared shirts or other ones, they're all in Chicago at my mom and dad's house because I thought I was coming back on March 15th, and I brought 2 giant bags of clothes so I wouldn't have to move all my clothes when it was time to move.
Where are you at right now? Are you in Arizona?
No, I'm in California.
Oh, you're in California.
Yeah, I'm still in. So my Ryan has a better chance of wearing my clothes than I do right now. He's right up the street.
Is it? is that
My parents
where
are
you were
right by
living?
Naperville North.
Is that where you were living out in California then?
Yeah. I've worked. I was at NFL Network for the last 5 years.
Yeah. Where's that at? In Southern California?
Yeah, it's in Los Angeles. I mean, I live in Redondo
Oh, okay.
Beach. I mean, which is essentially it's LA.
Oh yeah,
Same
yeah,
thing.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Nice.
I mean, I'm right by the Spectrum Studios for Dodgers. That's why whenever I did studio stuff for Dodgers, it would be perfect because it's like 2 miles away from the house, but Dodger Stadium's
That's
like 21 miles.
Oh, that fish place on the beach there in Redondo.
Say that.
That fish place on the beach in Redondo.
There's a bunch of
Just
them.
like it looks like a boat right there, right off.
What, Captain Kids?
I mean, it's it's like a mid-range restaurant, just very casual.
It could be Captain Kids right down there by the pier.
Looks like a boat. You're leaving all that, man? Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't come back here if I were you.
Come on.
You and Malik both, man. Leaving the beach town.
At least that's home for me. Malik's from Ohio, so.
Finally opened the golf courses here, though, so that's good.
Yeah, how did they go?
It's weird. It's weird though. I mean, our club is like you can only have a twosome. You can't ride in carts. You can't. The clubhouse isn't open, so it's just like it's really weird.
What course do you play?
Friday was the first day that we were able to go, and I went Friday, but then the weather's been crappy since then. So,
what course do you play at?
I'm just at Crest Creek over here, right around the corner.
Yeah. I mean, that's like literally like that's where Jerry Harrison grew up.
Yeah.
We used to go to that. Before when you pull into the subdivision, like there's like that little strip mall, like the little 2-tiered strip mall.
Yep, on the left. Yeah.
Yeah, there used to be this pizza place there. We used to ride our bikes like all the way from. I mean, we used to live by Wabansie Valley, but me and my buddies used to like get on our bikes and we were like freshmen in high school and like ride all the way across town. We used to ride over there and go to that one.
Yeah, they've really, just in the 6-7 years that I've been here, they've really built Naperville up. It's crazy, man. Downtown Naperville, and they're trying to make it like the mini Chicago of the suburbs. I mean, they got some cool
nuts,
stuff.
Man.
It's just now with all this, stuff going on and stuff, though, it's tough for, I've known a couple people that have had some or my wife has, that have had some like boutiques and stuff down there. And it's just the small mom and pop stuff can't stay in business because the rent's so damn high. Yep. It's like only the other people that come in. I mean, the turnover for some of their restaurants, they're good restaurants too, but the turnover is just crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I used to work at Mongolian Barbecue for years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you walk through that by the parking structure, like by Potbelly, and you walk by all those little, like the little hair salon and like the bracelets shop. Like those places aren't going to be able to last, man.
Yeah. I mean, you can never find parking down there. It's ridiculous.
No, it's nuts, man. Like I got my parents. We moved there when I was in 7th grade, so 1990. So there was like 60,000 people in Naperville back then. Like now it's like close to 200.
Yeah. We're building a house in the same neighborhood that we just sold a house in. So
really,
pretty crazy.
In Naperville.
Yeah, in Saybrook.
Okay.
It's right by BB Elementary.
Yep. Know exactly where that's at.
Yeah, we should start.
Even like just downtown Naperville. It's like every time I come back, like the amount of the houses that they've knocked down, and like giant. Like there's one house down there. It's kind of by, I mean, if you go like by Giordano's and they keep going, it's like a block up, and it even says on it private residence because it looks like an office building. It looks like a doctor's office.
So the rumor was
like 3 stories.
Bye-bye.
The rumor was that was the WeatherTech guys, but I guess it's
There he is.
Asian billionaire or something. I mean, the property tax on that place is probably like $300,000 a year.
That's nuts, man. What's up, JD?
What's going on, guys?
Hey, how's it
What's happening,
going?
brother?
All right, a little technical glitch here. Looks like we're good.
Hey, JD, you got Andrew?
Hi, Andrew. I do.
Thanks for working through that.
Sure. So it's just a matter of resetting the router? I know.
You know, it's could always be a couple of things.
It definitely helped.
Definitely a checklist of things, but that definitely helps.
Cool.
You look beautiful.
Let's just go through some A block traffic while Kevin's framing everything up. So we're going to come on, say hello, and then Cole is going to toss to a package that we made just about the last out. We have a little bit of a green screen comment from him and then some of his post game. And we're going to come out of that. We're going to go to Bruce first. What do you remember about that performance? Then we're going to ask the same question to JD and Ryan. And then on the re-tee, if we have time, depending on how long we go on the first topic, we'll ask if it's the best pitching performance of all time. And that'll be our A block, and then we'll be teasing Jim Riggleman joining the show. Talk Kerry Wood on the back end.
So Miller, just to so I don't step on and maybe any video. Do you want me to coming out of the full screen with Kerry Wood? Do you want me to say Bruce, JD, you guys were there. What do you remember? And I'll start with Bruce, and then
exactly.
on the tee back up, the Bill James nugget about developing game score 105. Where do you rank that performance? That's the follow up.
Yep.
Okay,
and then
cool.
I'll let you count yourself in after you pause to toss to the side.
Okay, cool.
And then we'll just start it back up on you.
Okay, start with Bruce.
Yep, we'll start with Bruce, then JD, who are both there.
Okay.
And Ryan's got a good story for that as well. Ryan, were you like 13 when that happened?
Yep.
Hey, JD, if you mind just standing still, I'm just trying to frame you up here. Thanks.
And JD, that was year 2 with the Astros for you, doing TV?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. So that was not your first time at Wrigley
No.
as a broadcaster?
No.
Gotcha.
JD, how many no hitters have you been in attendance for?
I don't know.
Whether
to say the
player
truth.
or calling.
Yeah, I'd have to circle back. A couple as a player: Erickson in Minnesota, Mike Scott, the clincher in Houston.
Nice.
Kane's perfect game, San Francisco. Arrieta, of course.
Yep. Both of them.
No, the
Sunday night game. Was Sunday Night Baseball.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah. We
That's right,
and my
at
wife and I
Dodger
we
Stadium,
flew
I was
back
at that
earlier. Yeah, I was
Nice.
plugged in. I was listening to it in the car when we landed.
Yeah. Like I was telling Miller earlier, they say that you're more likely to win the lottery than actually be at a no-hitter.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, I would trade a handful of my no-hitter for the lottery.
Yeah, that's the same thing I was telling my dad. I was like, man,
That's
I can't
take
believe
that
that
deal.
game. Like, yeah, you're more likely to win the
Absolutely.
lottery. I wish I would have done that today.
Zambrano's at Miller Park
Against
the
Houston.
Astros.
Why was that there again?
Yeah.
What was the issue? Why couldn't they play at either ballpark?
Hurricane Ike down in Houston.
That's right.
And,
That's
and
right.
The commissioner wanted to move the game, and Drayton McClain, who owned the Astros at the time, was he didn't want to give up the gates. He didn't want to, so he waited and waited and waited, and then finally his hand was forced, and they had to move.
Yeah.
So we ended up playing.
I remember there was a lot of
neutral site.
because that's when Hurricane Gustav just came through like the week before Hurricane Ike. And that was like
Yeah,
a
that was
year after,
wild,
2
man.
years after. I was down in Louisiana when that happened. So, yeah, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. We could
They
barely get
turned
to
me
the
into a
airport.
news reporter.
Or were you standing out there getting blown around and doing the whole thing?
They had me on they had made me go to Walmart and go to like on the roof of a Walmart and like film all this video of like people getting like MREs from the military. And like, it was crazy to me. I mean, being from Chicago, you don't ever know anything about like a hurricane.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we're all framed up, right, Kevin? Good to go. So we'll just start in the one shot of Cole and get going.
Yep.
All right, Cole, here we go.
Yep.
In 5, 4, 3, 2.
The time is now. Welcome to Cubs 360, presented by Miller Lite. Once again, I'm Cole Wright. Today, it's a momentous occasion because 22 years ago to the day, Kerry Wood was absolutely dominant, striking out 20 in just his 5th major league start, and we'll reflect on that. We'll talk to his former skipper, Jim Riggleman, as he joins the show. Plus, we'll ask, who's your favorite Cubs battery? Was it Kerry Wood and Sandy Martinez, or is it somebody else? Well, all options, they will be on the table for the next half an hour. So let's meet the team that we're going to discuss that and much, much more with. You see him here every day. He's covered Chicago sports for 30 plus years from 670 The Score. It's Bruce Levine. And it'll be season 8 on the mic for this man in the booth for the Cubs. It's Jim Deshaies, also known as JD. And he spent time on both sides, the south side and the north side with the Sox and the Cubs. Back once again, it's Ryan Sweeney. Now, guys, I don't know where you were at 22 years ago to the day, but like I said, Kerry Wood, well, he was at the friendly confines, 1060 West Addison, as he was towing the rubber in just his 5th major league start, which eventually would be historic. 20 strikeouts. So without further ado, let's take a trip down memory lane.
All right, stop down for a second real quick. We just hear some clicking in the background. Is there anyone like with a pen or something? Or is there something going on behind anybody at your apartment or house or something? Just
Quiet here.
all right, one second. Let's just try to figure it out. Dusold, I'll talk to you on Teams real quick.
The cat coughed once, though. I'll admit that. Choked up.
You got to check Gizmo for Corona. Got these dogs and lions getting tested these days.
He's been having some problems. Not a good time for him.
How old is he, Bruce?
14.
Nice.
He's pretty young. Young cat.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I got a 14-year-old cat.
Hey, JD, the clicking might be coming from your headset. Just make sure, just the cord hanging like on your lap or anything, just isn't. And is the mic on the other earpiece?
Yeah, the mic is here.
All right, so that's my guess. If I had, yeah, there you go. And then just a 10 count or a 5 count if you can, real quick.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Got it.
All right, so we'll reset to go here real quick. Just checking to make sure everyone has their chat up since we have the time. Everyone see what I just sent there?
Hello, everyone.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Yeah.
I don't
Ryan,
have it.
So there should be like a chat
from the
bubble.
top, or we just started?
No, I know.
We
It's
have,
just
Cole, we can just start from where we had it. We'll be able to work off the ISO
Okay, cool.
mics.
That's what I thought. So we'll start on that.
Oh, here we go. I
Kerry
got
Wood
it. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, so off this reset, it'll just be
the full screen.
the full screen, and then tossing to Bruce. You know, you were there. What do you remember about that day?
Yep.
Dusold, ready to go? All right, in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Well, I think it's safe to say the electricity was thick at Wrigley Field on that day, and it put Kerry Wood in select company. He would then belong to a list with the strikeout artists. It's Roger Clemens, Randy Johnson, and Max Scherzer. Now, Clemens actually struck out 20, not once, but he did so twice. Now, as we said to start the show, Bruce Levine, he's covered Chicago sports for 30-plus years. He and Jim Deshaies, they were both at that game. But, Bruce, I'll start with you. What do you remember the most about that historic performance?
Well, I remember that it wasn't a big deal that day. I mean, it was Kerry's 5th start. He was certainly highly touted in spring training. Everybody was expecting big things. He had a couple of good starts up to that point, but nobody was expecting Kerry Wood at that point. So this was a day, it was pretty nice out, but you know, you talk to people, everybody you talk to say they were at that game, and there was only 15,000 people in the stands. So from what I remember, just the dominance of both pitchers. Shane Reynolds was dealing in the first inning. He pitched a beautiful game himself. There were the first 8 batters all together, Astros and Cubs, struck out. And I said, what is going on here? So there was a feeling in the crowd right then and in the press box that something special could happen that day.
Yeah, what jumps out at me, Cole, is just the stuff, the overpowering stuff that Kerry had that day. We'd heard a lot about him. I was in the broadcast booth for the Astros. It was just my second year working in television. And, you know, every time you heard about Kerry Wood, you heard about Roger Clemens and Nolan Ryan. It was this lineage of hard-throwing Texas right-handers, and Kerry Wood was going to be the next one to kind of carry the freight for those power arms from Texas. First pitch of the game hits Jerry Meals right in the coconut. Gives you some idea of how lively his stuff was. And then he just completely dominated a very good Astros lineup, a team that led the National League in runs scored that year and won 102 ball games. So he didn't do it against, you know, any soft touches. It was just unbelievable stuff. And I think if you'd ask any hitter, you know, was his curveball better, his slider better, his fastball, you'd probably get 9 different answers because it was all off the charts good.
Yeah. Ryan, how about you? You were not one of the 15,000 in attendance that claimed to be there, but you do remember this game. You were a little bit younger than myself and Bruce and JD, however.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely was not there. I was 13, I think. But my grandparents being huge Cub fans, I definitely remember them calling. I think I was probably, you know, playing some travel ball somewhere. But, I mean, just rewatching that and reliving it, just the sheer dominance and how he was blowing pitchers away and just dotting his fastball and, you know, throwing that great curveball. I mean, as a hitter, you can appreciate that. And you know when a guy's on like that there's just no chance in touching him. I mean, I think just, you know, seeing the way that he was going out there and being competitive with that being only his 5th major league start, I think there's a lot of people that, you know, could probably tell you where they were when they were 20 years old, and it definitely probably wasn't striking out 20 batters.
All right, we just had to readjust.
I got that, Andrew.
Bruce, we're just going to have to readjust your shot there. You got knocked. Just tilt back down if you can. You got me, Bruce?
Oh, it popped up. Huh?
Yep. There you go, right there. Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Deuce, can you start in a shot of – yeah, you need a second? Yeah, go ahead.
JD, Clippers or Razor?
Razor.
Nice.
Yeah.
Schick or Gillette?
I think it's a Gillette. I think it is.
I prefer the
it's
all right, we're good to
fusion.
Nice. We're good to reset here. So we were on the 1 shot of Ryan, so we'll go to a 2 shot of Cole and Bruce. And Cole, you can just re-tee.
Yep.
You know, this is considered the best baseball game of all time. Bruce, you've seen more baseball than any of us. What do you think? Best pitching performance of all time, I should say.
Sure.
Dusold, good to go?
10 seconds. Let me center Bruce up a little bit.
All right, here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2.
All right, Bruce, I want to bounce this off you because Bill James, baseball historian, he came up with a metric, and it's called game score. It takes into account all pitching performances. There's a whole bunch of criteria to run down that list, but Kerry Wood's game score in that one, 105, the best score of all time when it comes to a 9-inning performance. So where do you rank Wood's 20 strikeout performance game?
Well, for me, and I've been around a while, that's the most dominant game I've ever watched because it could have been just Kerry Wood and Sandy Martinez with nobody else around, because that's how Kerry looked. The breaking ball was so pronounced and was breaking so much that the hitters could not sit on a fastball. The fastball was 99 and raising up. I mean, it was just incredible 2 pitches that nobody could catch up with that day. I think Biggio is the only one that didn't strike out, more than once in that lineup there. So from all of that, that was the most dominant performance I've ever seen, and I don't think any of them have been really close to that.
Yeah, I'm with you, Bruce, and I've seen a lot of great ones. I saw Mike Scott's no-hitter to clinch the division in '86 for the Astros over the Giants. Scotty struck out over 300 batters that year, had some big strikeout games. I was in the booth for Matt Cain's perfect game against the Astros in 2012 when he punched out 14. Zambrano's no-hitter in Milwaukee against the Astros, I witnessed that one. So I've seen my fair share of dominant pitching performances, but I don't know that any of them touch what Kerry Wood did that day. The middle 3 in the order, 3, 4, 5, came to that 9 times, and they struck out 9 times. And that was Jeff Bagwell, Jack Howell, and Moises Alou. So some pretty good hitters there. And the one anecdote from that game, it was either Biggio or Bagwell, I think it was Craig, after his first at-bat to start the game, walked back to the dugout and said, "Boys, we got no chance today." And he was spot on.
Yeah, as a hitter, that is a bad feeling, not having any chance going in there. But yeah, I agree. All 3 of us agree. That is probably one of the most dominating games. I kind of looked at this as was in right field when Dallas Braden threw his perfect game too on Mother's Day. And, I just feel like as far as dominance, Kerry Wood game by far out of the park. But then when it comes to the perfect game, I think it's more of a team. You can't have any errors. There's always 3 or 4 like unbelievable plays. So as far as dominant goes, I would definitely choose Kerry Wood.
Yeah, so many late swing and misses in that one. You heard the glove pop, and then you saw the player just pretty much with a butt-out strikeout every single time. Now, we'll continue to discuss this 20 strikeout game, and we'll also touch on it with his former skipper, Jim Riggleman, and we'll ask him how the heck Sandy Martinez was involved in this one. That and much, much more, that's coming your way next right here. You're watching Cubs 360, presented by Miller Lite.
Awesome. Great block there. Love all the different perspectives.
I got a freaking phone call there.
I don't think we heard it, which is good.
Okay, good.
Hey, JD, the only thing I noticed, sometimes your microphone kind of touches on your facial hair a little bit. I don't know what. Yeah.
Why don't I just dangle it and hang on to it? If I hold it here, it's kind of in a locked position.
Okay, and then just make sure. So yeah, I believe the clicking sound was coming from your headset. So yeah, if you just hold on to it tight, all should be.
Yeah.
All right, so let's run through traffic here. We're coming off of the Riggleman interview was the B block, so now this is the C block. We're coming off of a bite. Kerry Wood said the first time he felt his arm with a little bit of an issue was on the fist bump of that 20 strikeout game. It's part of the documentary that aired on Marquee. I'm not sure if anyone saw it, but then we go to a full screen on heavy pitch count performances, and we're going to come out with our Miller Lite refreshing take. That probably wouldn't happen now because managers now care more about pitch count than milestones. We'll get about 45 seconds each for you guys on that one. And we'll start with JD, then we'll go Ryan, then we'll go Bruce. And Cole, just a reminder, at the end, we have the National Nurses Day with Advocare, and we're teasing favorite battery in Cubs history.
Yep.
You still good to go? Okay.
Does anybody have a window open by chance? I just feel like I'm hearing some wind. Just
It sounds like someone's doing a live shot outside. Here at the Indianapolis 500, and I tell you what, it's going to be.
I got a fan on, but that might. You want me to turn it off?
It's not the fan. Try. Yeah, okay. Let's turn it off if you don't mind.
Here. Yeah, I'll try it.
Yeah, I think JD. It's probably.
I mean, it shouldn't have been. But
no, that's okay. Let's wear the headset, JD, if you're comfortable with it, and just be mindful of the mic just touching up against your facial hair.
Okay. Here we go, Cole, in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hey, welcome back to Cubs 360, presented by Miller Lite. And boy, Jim was certainly correct there. We will always ask, what if, when it comes to Kerry Wood and his career. Now, he threw 122 pitches in that 20 strikeout game 22 years ago to the day, and he has 3 of the top 6 pitch counts by someone under 21 years old since 1991, and that's not necessarily a good thing. But we all know about kids these days and their pitch counts. So back here with the guys, that's Bruce, JD, and Ryan. And it's time now for a Miller Lite refreshing take of the day, where I pose the question that managers, they care more about pitch counts and health these days as opposed to history. JD, I'll start with you. What do you think?
I guess to a certain degree, and I think it all depends on where you are in terms of the player and his career and where the team is in the course of the season. And I think Joe Madden was a bit of an outlier, because Joe said he was not going to stand in the way of history. If a guy had a no-hitter going, he wasn't really going to focus on pitch count. I think Joe's mindset, and one that I agree with, would be it's not necessarily one single game that creates a big problem for a lot of pitchers. It's game after game after game with a heavy workload. So I'm in the camp that says, if you push a guy and he ends up throwing 130 pitches to make a little history, let's do it. And let's give him a couple extra days off before his next start, to just kind of monitor him as he goes forward. I do understand that it can be a bit of an issue, especially with a young guy, and that's a challenge. With a guy like Kerry Wood, I think the modern manager would probably be a little more careful with him going forward. I know Dusty's taking a lot of heat for the way he and Mark Pryor were both used. The bottom line is none of us know exactly, when the guy's going to break down, how much a pitcher can endure. Just as a little side note, when I was my first year in pro ball, I threw 183 pitches in a game in the New York Penn League in 11 innings. So I don't know how much that affected me after that or not, but that would never happen today.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I think it has to deal with the player, whether it's a young guy or an older guy, if they're coming off injury. I just definitely think that nowadays, the managers have a lot more, it might not just be in their hands. They have a lot more people to answer to. And these teams are making an investment in these pitchers, and they want them to be able to have long careers. Now, whether or not, if they throw 120, 130 pitches, is that going to affect them down the road? Who knows? I used to pitch when I was younger, and I know that, when I threw more pitches, I maybe, like JD said, been a little bit more sore, but maybe give him a couple days off. But I think definitely if you're going to go into, being able to throw a no-hitter, how many chances do you get to do that as a competitor and as a player? You're definitely going to want to be out there on that mound, and it's going to be tough to take you out.
Well, I can document 3 no-hitters that eventually one of them a perfect game where the pitchers were never the same again. And one was the one that JD talked about in our last segment about Matt Cain. And then you move on to Johan Santana, who threw his no-hitter, 133 pitches, and only won 8 games again after that. Edwin Jackson threw one of 141 and was really not the starting pitcher that he was ever again. So when you get into that 130 territory, I think you're starting to mess with people's careers. And Terry Collins, the manager for Santana, says to this day he regrets letting him go to that number. For the rest of his career, he regretted it. So you can't have it both ways. It's a really difficult choice.
So I guess Luis Tiant and Nolan Ryan, they are anomalies when it comes to the pitch count, because Nolan Ryan, he threw 235 pitches, went 13 innings, and El Tiant, well, he had a quite high number of pitch count as well. He went all the way to the 15th in the same game. The Angels, they won that one 4-3, but that's here nor there. Just coffee talk, no big whoop. Now, there's still more to come when it comes to the significance of May 6th and that 20 strikeout game. But May 6th, well, it's also special for another reason, because it's National Nurses Day. And this day raises awareness for the contributions that nurses make in helping to keep us healthy. Now, we recognize their efforts, as many of them stand on the front lines treating those affected by COVID-19. Now, still more to come right here on Cubs 360. We're about to step aside. And Carlos Zambrano and Michael Barrett, they didn't always get along, this we know, but they certainly had some special moments together at Wrigley Field. So could they be our favorite battery in Cubs history? We'll discuss. That's next, right here. Don't move.
He stole my thunder.
Awesome, good block.
That's going to be
JD,
my
that's
pick.
a pretty crazy performance in the Penn League, huh?
Yeah, 11 innings. I struck out 20 guys.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
And left in a 3-3 tie and got a no decision. How's that for a hang with him?
Hey, Andrew.
Yeah, Bruce.
Cole teased the guys that I'm going to use. Is that okay? Or
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Okay.
That's totally fine.
All right.
We built the tease not knowing who everyone was saying, but we wanted to make sure we got that video in there. It's too good not to show. Yeah, no, that's great. So, Cole, we're coming off the Play at Home promo. Nacho wrote some copy there for you. And then we're transitioning from Soto and Dempster to what our panel's favorite Cubs battery is. Try to keep it to like 20 seconds each here, guys. We went a little heavy. That's fine, though. And then we'll wrap up and get out of here. We'll just we'll start at Ryan and come back to Bruce.
Okay.
Dusold, good to go? Kevin, you got me there? You good?
Let me
I'm all
plug this
good.
computer in before it needs to make sure before something happens. We're taping this and my charge kicks on me.
Yeah.
Let me do that.
Take the 10 seconds now so we have to read.
Right. Boom. There we go.
All right. Here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hey, thanks a million, Chris. Ryan Dempster and Giovanni Soto at Play at Home. On Play at Home. Sorry. Let's do it one more time. 3.
All good.
2.
In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hey, Chris, thanks a million. You won't want to miss that. Ryan Dempster and Giovanni Soto on Play at Home trivia at 7 o'clock on the dot. There's no doubt about it that those two guys built a special bond. And let's discuss, because we're back here with the fellas, Bruce, JD, and Ryan. And when it comes to pitcher-catcher combos, the best battery in the history of the Chicago Cubs, Soto and Dempster, they play together with the Cubs as well as with the Rangers. But if there's anyone that jumps off the page to you when it comes to that back and forth, Ryan, who is it?
Yeah, so I went with the year 1992, Greg Maddux and Joe Girardi. That was a year he won 20 games. His last year, being with the Cubs before he went over to the Braves, and I was always a huge Braves fan and a huge fan of Greg Maddux. Just the way that he pitched to him, and the way that his great. Sorry, guys, I messed up.
It's all good.
Sorry, man. Here,
All good.
tee me up again. I'm trying to make it 20 seconds, but there's more.
Yeah, let's just start from the top. We're only
start from the top.
about 45 in.
All good.
Yep.
Make it cleaner. Yep.
All right, in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hey, good stuff. Thanks, Chris. Play at home trivia, 7 o'clock sharp. Ryan Dempster and Giovanni Soto. You won't want to miss a single second. I guarantee it. Now back here with the guys on Cubs 360, it's Bruce, JD, and Ryan. And when we talked about Ryan Dempster and Giovanni Soto, they got those wheels spinning as they usually do here when it came to Cubs and the favorite batteries over the years. Now, if there's a pitcher-catcher combo that jumps off the page to you, Ryan, who is it?
So I went with Greg Maddux and Joe Girardi, 1992 season. I think it was the last year that Maddux was with the Cubs before he went over to the Braves. He won 20 games and was an all-star. I was just a big fan, Greg Maddux fan, big Cubs and Atlanta Braves fan while he was there. So I went with those guys and thought they were great together.
I'm going to cheat because it's my right to cheat, and I'm going to turn the clock way back to 1901. The Cubs were then known as the Chicago Orphans, and they had a fellow by the name of Rube Waddell on their pitching staff, one of the real kind of flake character guys in the early days of our game. And he was later on paired with a catcher by the name of Ossie Scheckenghost, who didn't play for the Cubs, but they were battery mates in the future. And there's a debate as to which one had it in their contract, but the contract stipulated that they would only room with each other if player A or B did not eat animal crackers in bed. Because back in the day, these guys, they didn't just share a room, they shared a bed. So these guys had a double bed. And the story as I first read it, Waddell said, I'm not going to room with Ossie unless he stops eating animal crackers in bed. And Ossie argued just the opposite. It says, Rube that's pounding the animal crackers, not me.
I'm going with Carlos Zambrano and Michael Barrett as my battery because one particular day it was a battery, and then battery was committed 2 other times by Zambrano and Barrett in fistfights, ending up with Barrett going to the hospital after the second one. So my favorite battery, Zambrano and Barrett.
Yeah, Michael Barrett and Carlos Zambrano, they never shared a bed or animal crackers together. Now, guys, our time here is up on Cubs 360. Exactly. So for everyone at Marquee Sports Network, including Bruce, JD, and Ryan, I'm Cole Wright. We'll see you next time. Take it easy on the animal crackers.
Awesome. Good job, guys. Great show.
Good stuff, guys.
Thanks for working through the technical difficulties there, JD and Cole.